I work with SCE, Saitama JALT Educators, and I also work, as my real job, at Seibudai High School, which is a private high school in, I guess you would say, southwestern Saitama on the Kobutojo line. And today I'm going to talk about making communicative presentations that you can use in your class. Okay. So I think everyone who's a teacher here probably uses a presentation in their class, right? Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I do too, and I've noticed a lot with my presentations is the person is presenting and everyone is sitting there listening.
Like now?
Like that. I think the stairs, something like that.
That's not good.
You know, so you can tell they're not really listening. And I've tried doing where they have to write down information about the presentation, which I think works, but it doesn't really make the activity very communicative. So I guess first let's address what communicative means, and then I want to talk about an article by Leander S. Hughes where he uses questions to determine if an article, if a presentation or activity is communicative, and then discuss an activity. Okay, so what does communicative mean? So it requires 2 or more people. One person is not being communicative. And all of them, all the people in the communicative activity or exchange, they have to send and receive information in the target language. And then, let's see here, all information that is received has to be received and understood in the target language, and all information sent has to be sent and, comprehended. They have to make it and then send it in the target language. So that's what makes a communicative. That's what communicative means. Would anyone like me to clarify that a bit more?
So you said how many points do you have to have? 2 people? 2 or more
you
people?
You have 2 or more people. And everyone has to send and receive information in the target language. And then that information has to be comprehended in the target language to understand.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So how do you tell if an activity is communicative or not? And Leander S. Hughes wrote this article for Saitama Journal of Language Teaching. And it's a framework for assessing the communicative potential of language learning activities. He gives 10 questions, but the first 4 I think are quite enough for today. And if you'd like to read more, please read this article. It's in the Winter Journal of 2008. So, his questions are this. Does the activity involve 2 or more people? Yeah. If it doesn't work. Do all the participants both send and receive information in the target language? And I think for most presentations, you could say that they're sending information in the target language. I don't know if the students listening are really understanding what that person is saying, but at least it's being sent. So for normal presentations, it kind of needs half of this. Number 3, when participants receive information, do they have to comprehend it in the target language to complete the activity? So, do they have to understand it in English and then do something to complete an activity? Or whatever language you're teaching. And finally, number 4, when they send information, do they have to comprehend and produce it in the target language? So this is useful to just think about the activities that you use in class. And I kind of actually think about my activities now a lot in this way. But one of the problems I have in my classes is I teach 40 students. So it's really difficult to come up with activities that are communicative, where everyone will actually be doing something. Right? So that's why like the idea of communicative presentations because everyone has to present. Just as opposed to doing like little conversation games where you have to move around and get information from people. That's really easy for students not to do anything and just speak in Japanese. So, communicative presentation. The idea of communicative presentations is to get students to listen and then respond to the presentation before them. Okay? So in order to complete their presentation, they have to respond to the presentation before them. And that's what makes it communicative, because they have to listen and then respond. Hello? Okay. So the other thing that makes it even better is if you make the presentation very random. That way nobody knows when they're going and they can't just, oh, I have like 5 people, I'll just sit here until so-and-so goes and then I just listen. So the idea is to get people to respond and then try to make it as random as possible to keep them listening for as long as possible. The last person will probably be very kawaii, right? Because they'll be listening the whole time. So example presentation is this job presentation. And it's something like, hello, I think such and such job is the best job for me. And you can add this part depending on the book for students because, and they give a reason. And this is the part that they repeat. You said blank is the best job. That's true, but I think blank is bad for me because, depending on the level. And then they say again, so I think blank is the best job for me. Thank you for listening. And actually, I have to thank John for this wonderful presentation outline. Thank you very much.
I can't look that far.
I use different ones, but I think this one is very good representation. Okay, and you can change it based on the level of your students. So if they're higher level, you can add the because and they can give reasons. You can make it easier depending on their level. So what I want to do is I would like everyone to kind of practice this. Okay.
All right.
Yes.
Let's do it.
So how do I want to do, I guess, do we have time to do everyone?
I believe we
Yeah, we can get through it. I mean, say, well, it's not really saying long, is it? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to give everyone a little job. This will be your job that you want to do.
Okay.
Okay? And then I'll give you a few minutes to think about it, and then I'll go first, and then we'll just pick people and do our presentations.
Fantastic.
Okay? Thank you. You can be the witness. You're back.
Congratulations.
Have you liked this one?
Thank you. Oh, fantastic.
We'll never go hungry.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We switched troublemaker.
All right. Plumber.
You can pass it to those outside.
You're
They get a lot of money.
A lot of money.
It's also a dining job.
I have to build more pants for one. I just want to spill out of my pants like a shit.
Oh, you can. It's, you know.
Okay. So I'd like to use this format. Would you guys like to add it because, or would you like to
Oh, I love
Yes, please.
Because? Let's do because.
All right.
Okay. So do you want like a minute or two to practice?
I'm good.
Everyone good? Everyone okay? All right.
Okay.
I'll go first.
Not ready. Go ahead and think about yourself, watch hers, and then think about your presentation. You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll put you in the middle or last. You would like that? Okay. All right. So, hello.
Hello.
I can't do this part of it. I think construction worker is the best job for me because I like to build things. So I think construction worker is the best job for me. Thank you for listening.
Hello, I think that a farmer is the best job for me because I like to be about the plants. I like to grow things. You said that construction worker is the best job. That's true, but I think construction worker is bad for me because I have sensitive ears. So I think that being a farmer is the best job for me. Thank you.
Do I pull this one or?
Yes, you got
Okay.
it.
Okay. I think
an engineer is the best job for me because as a kid I was really good with Lego.
Okay.
You said you think being a farmer is the best job for you, but I don't agree because I have soft hands that were damaged. Yeah.
Okay. Give me your pen.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I think that being a secretary is the best job for me because I like typing very quickly. You said that being an engineer is the best job. That's true, but I think being an engineer is bad for me because I wasn't good with Lego at all. I'm working on it, though. Working on it. So I think being a secretary is the best job for me. Yay!
Yay. Thank you for cooperating and doing that for me. So, before I finish, I'd just like to see what you think about this presentation and if you think it's a more interactive and communicative way for students to give presentations. Any comments or questions? Yes, perhaps.
This is a great format. I like it because really you could use it from anywhere from like able elementary schools all the way up through university to give students an opportunity to express themselves creatively with a framework. And I think that that's fantastic. One question, I guess it's just something, wondering if you had any advice. As a random presentation, until it's your turn, you're listening very carefully and making sure that you're paying attention and prepared to be communicative. But after Matt finished, he wasn't listening to anyone.
That's true.
So, do you have any suggestions or ideas? And this is kind of open to everyone for how to include more people in the group.
I guess off the top of my head, what I would do for that is make them fill something out.
Okay.
And like, okay, so what does everyone want to be? And they have to do that and also listen
I
to
see.
the person in front of them. And I do that already in my classes, and adding this element would be even better, I think.
Yeah, I think that having some sort of form where you'd write in the job that you heard, and then you would check either this is good for me or this is not, and then write your reason as well. And that would help them maybe prepare for when it's their turn as well. And have them fill out the whole thing.
And then even at the end, if you wanted to go over, you could pick someone saying so-and-so who was, I don't know, Ikeda-kun, what was his job that he wanted to do.
Cool.
And if you had more time, you could go over it like that.
Nice.
So,
Cool. Good idea.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is that all?
I want to say that was really, really cool. I do appreciate the chain linking. If I was in your position, I might consider having two where to go twice. But we did it pretty ordered today. We went down the line, kind of snaked through. But if it was random, it really is great because you kind of have to listen.
Right.
So I enjoyed it. I think there's a lot of great opportunities with the intro prompt. I noticed, more importantly than me speaking, is that I heard in context content. So you said operate machinery. I know machine, but maybe that's my first time hearing operate. So not just the Kyoko show, not just the teacher's book, but a lot of independent, correct content pieces. I liked it very much.
And just to add to that, I liked, like for example, Tegan's presentation. She had an opportunity, being a veterinarian, to say, I don't want to be an eye doctor because I don't like people, which makes sense because her job is a veterinarian. So there's an added element of creativity that comes into it if your students are sharp.
That's just the truth, not creativity.
Yeah, that's the other thing I like about it. Students can be creative and think about what they want. So, and not just this presentation, you can use this element in just about anything. For what's your favorite fruit? Why? Or where do you want to go and why? Kind of thing. So you can use it for, I think, anything. Very flexible. So, yeah.
Sorry I was late, so I might have missed it, but are the students given any preparation time? Or?
Yes, they are. They are given presentations, like time to prepare and practice and things like that.
All right.
It would be kind of me, evil teacher, to say, okay, we're doing a presentation today. You have 30 seconds. Go. But you could do that. You could do that if you really feel confident in your students.
Yeah, you've done it a bunch of times before.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. The other thing I have to mention is, it would be really good to really demonstrate this a lot. Because the first time I tried it with my students, they just did not get it. And I that's partially my fault as not explaining it well enough. But once they get it, I think they will enjoy it. Yeah.
Did you have, I don't know your situation at your school, do you have a Japanese teacher, and did they help kind of translate what the sentences mean, or are they at high enough level that they got it, if they paid attention?
It depends on the class, but I do have a Japanese teacher with all my classes, but I have different ones. And I don't know, they just didn't understand it. They're very kind of low level, and they
I guess, did they not understand the English, or did they not understand
didn't understand how to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess they're just not used to being active.
Yeah.
I
And
think
then,
that-
but at the end of doing this, they probably, they knew your expectation is
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
want their ideas.
Yeah,